Okay, today, Wednesday, October 29th, 2008. Theme music playing in the background. Same theme music that I've had in my videos before. Same theme song Alex Jones uses. Well, enough about that. On to today's topics. Politicians. You're going to be voting for some here in 6 days. Politicians, what are they? What exactly is their job? And how much power do they really have to control things? Those are some of the topics we're going to be covering today. Politicians. I said one time in a radio that I looked up in a dictionary, and of course politicians doesn't say liar in the dictionary, but pretty much show me one politician that's gotten elected that promised 100% of everything that they were going to do in their bid to get elected or re-elected, and actually did 100% of everything that they said they were going to do. I don't think of anyone that I could think of that comes to mind. Maybe you out there in YouTube land know a politician that's done everything they say they were going to do. Meanwhile, by not being in the back pocket of some corporation. So let's take a look at the two candidates. Do a little bit of research. I'm not going to bore you with the statistics and the numbers of who gave money to who, but if you look at John McCain and Barack Obama, most of their money came from the same major multi-billion-dollar corporations. Which brings to mind another thing about who actually pulls the strings in politics. We can look back at the Bush presidency, and we could say, well, here was an oil man who was buddies with another oil man who was the CEO of Halliburton, and the next thing you know, boom, president, vice president. You know the history. I don't have to educate y'all on that. You know what we've gone through over the last 8 years, and my fear is the next 8's probably going to be a lot worse than the first 8. A politician. What can a politician actually do? A politician can pass laws, it can propose laws, it can write bills, it can figure out ways to take away your rights. Because all the law is a right that you had yesterday that you don't have today. They can create budgets, they can figure out how they're going to spend the money that they're taxing you, and they can declare war, which is another way that they can spend your tax dollars. Okay, so they pass laws, create budgets, and declare war. That doesn't make them qualified to run the economy or figure out how to make the economy function better. And the whole reason is I know exactly who the people are behind the scenes that are pulling the strings. And they're the people that control the money systems. The big bankers that have more money than God himself. Not to upset any religious people out there, but that's a comparison of how much money that they really do have. And one has to think that every dollar that's made is made on debt. The Federal Reserve System creates money out of thin air at the government's request. Basically, the government says, hey, I need some money. Federal Reserve says, hey, if you write us a treasury note, we'll create you some money. So they do. They create money, and the government has to pay it back. Well, the whole thing to this system is that every dollar that's created goes to a bank and is deposited somewhere. Once that dollar is deposited, they only have to keep 10% of whatever's deposited in their bank for functional capital. That's a federal law. There goes a law from a politician now. So that frees up the rest of the money that they could do whatever they want to and lend. And I'm not too good at explaining the whole scheme of how the financial system works, but Aaron Russo's Freedom to Fascism is a very good movie to check it out. You can check it out at freedocumentaries.org, or you can look up Zeitgeist on Google, and that's also a very good one. But phone call, sorry. But I want to get to my point real quick. Make this video kind of short because I know I'm running probably over my time by now. The decision to make in 3 days, you're going to have to vote. Option A, option B. Doesn't matter who the names are because it really doesn't matter because the same people are controlling them. Option C, anybody. Because I'm not going to count the libertarian running, the constitutionalist running, the independent running for president. I think that any option C is a good option because it's a vote against the system, a vote against the people controlling it. Now, let's take a real quick look at history and I'll end it. If you look at all of the governments that decided to stand up for what was right for the people and decide to take back some of the corporate greed that's made their people so impoverished, if you look at most of those cultures, most of those countries have been had coup d'etat staged, had their leaders assassinated, or we've actually invaded like we did in Iraq or Afghanistan to sell opium to millions of people and make heroin and shoot stuff up in their arm, at the same time waging a totally illegal war on drugs to begin with. But I'll go ahead and end it here, and I should be back tomorrow night with some more thoughts of insight. I have yet to actually prepare a script, so whatever comes off the top of my head is what you're going to get. Well, have a good night and God bless.